black people are not the original inhabitants of South Africa, which, in fact, they're realizing that now. When they claimed that they owned all the land, the original inhabitants, of whom there are not many left, said, excuse me, we were the original inhabitants. You guys were migrants here as well, which they were. Okay, the original inhabitants.
Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Boma, and I am back like I never left. Yes guys, I am back today with another video. And on today's video, we are going to be discussing something very sensitive, something I would want all of my South African people to also involve in. I want you guys to explain and drop a comment about. I need some sort of insight about what this particular video I'm about to discuss here with you or analyze here with you today is all about. So guys, before I proceed, I would like to play some clips of it. You know, the way we do it here, you know, the way we roll over here on this channel. We play it for people to hear from the horse's mouth before we get into our analysis. So guys, just stay right there. I'll be right back.
Black people are not the original inhabitants of South Africa, which, in fact, they're realizing that now. When they claimed that they owned all the land, the original inhabitants, of whom there are not many left, said, excuse me, we were the original inhabitants. You guys were migrants here as well, which they were. Okay, the original inhabitants of Southern Africa are called the Khoisan. In the West, the Bushmen are Khoisan. Hottentots are Khoisan. But you can't use those words anymore. You now have to call them Khoisan. Okay? All right, now, and they were the inhabitants of the whole of Southern Africa. So the whole of South Africa, at one stage, were Khoisan. The black people originated in what is now Cameroon. That's where they...
Hold on, Khoisan aren't black?
No.
What are they?
They're a completely separate ethnicity all on their own. In fact, if you look at them, they're kind of yellowy. They're a light brown yellow color, right. But they look more Asian than African. They do not consider themselves African.
Interesting.
So guys, you could clearly hear what this white dude had to say, this white guy had to say about the South African history of how the pure black people are not the main owners of South Africa land. He's actually saying that there were a certain type of tribe, which we call the Khoisan tribe, who actually, first of all, were born or were the owners or the main owners of the land in which the Sans people are claiming to be theirs presently. So he said back in 19-something, these people had already settled there before the black Sans people, who now claim that the whole of South Africa is their own land and is their inheritance. So the Khoisan people, according to him, he said, had not so much of a black skin. They were more like a yellowy skin. And he said something about them being a part of the Asian, tribe or Asian descendant. So I'm wondering, like, how did this particular tribe go into extinct? If you know anything about it in the comment section, I really love to learn and I want to know better about it. So if you're a South African watching me and you have a better insight about this particular history, please drop a comment in the comment section, because I want to know and I want to learn more about this Khoisan tribe and if they have gone into extinct or what they are presently or who they are presently in the Sans community or in South Africa. That's if they even still exist. So if you have any idea, please, I'll be watching. I'll be in the comment section and I'll be reading. I'll be waiting to hear from the horse's mouth. So guys, let's continue with this analysis before I proceed.
Look more Asian than African. They do not consider themselves African.
Interesting.
When the white guys arrive in Cape Town, so 1652 is when Dutch guys arrived there. At that stage, you could have divided South Africa almost exactly 50-50, what's now South Africa. The western half of the country was entirely Khoisan. There were no black people there. None at all. Only Khoisan. So we're Cape Towners, all that area, Khoisan people. The northern part of the country did have black people. They'd started arriving, and they were still migrating.
How long had they been there in the northern?
Well, it's a moot point, and people have debated it. It would seem that black people had probably started arriving in the northern parts of South Africa maybe 1,000 years, something like that, about 1,000 years before whites got there, right up in the north, okay? And they've been slowly moving south because it's an empty space. I mean, one of the things about Africa is it's very empty. Up until the 1950s, Africa was very empty. It's the population exploded because white colonists, the naughty white colonists, put hospitals there, and there's been this huge population explosion since the 1950s. But Africa was really very empty up until then. And so tribes moved around and just occupied new empty territory.
While I don't agree with this guy about him saying Africa was empty until the colonialists put hospitals there, until the naughty colonialists visited, is because in some of the African countries today, we still have the main owners of their land occupying it, even with the population increase. So to me, this particular fact he dropped is kind of suspicious and doesn't seem to be true. That's why I would want somebody who is in the know of the history of the Khoisan and the Sans people to really explain further so that a narrative doesn't keep flying. You know, when something on the internet pops out and, you know, people of that particular tribe don't come out and talk about it and quench that narrative will keep flying until it becomes their truth. But for me, he says something about Africa being empty. We have some original people in certain areas in Africa that have not even mixed. They have never even diluted their culture. Many of them don't even have what we call the colored people, according to the South Africans. In most of those African regions, colored people don't even exist, not to talk of a white blood or a white, a white person. So saying Africa was empty when the colonialists came is sort of kind of I feel like a big, lie, or I feel like that's not 100% true. From my own knowledge of my history as a Black African girl, that is not 100% true. So, for the Sans people, please, I would want to know what you think about what this man said, and I want you to educate me about who the true owners of your land is, because when I saw this video, it was quite shocking, because I have never heard it anywhere before. Trust me, I have never seen any history about this before, so I wouldn't want to elaborate so much on something I have little knowledge about. I would want you guys to come out and explain in the comment section, make it interactive. Let us also learn and understand who truly owns the South Africa land. Who truly owns the land in South Africa, because these white people sometimes be doing certain things and if you don't explain to people, or if you don't throw light on that situation, that particular narrative will fly and that will become your truth. And I know this is not what many of us want for ourselves and for our children, especially when there is something you need to explain, or there's a clause there he hasn't mentioned. So guys, that'll be all for this video. Thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to like my video, share, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you'll be the first to know whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all so much. One love.